So one of the things about Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin that really makes it unique is that it's really one of the first books in the 19th century that the images are equally as popular as the text itself. And it's also really important to know that in the 19th century, obviously, the population of the Western world wasn't as literate as it is today. So images really helped people to get through the book because they could look at the images and figure it out. So the illustrations in the two versions of the book that circulated, so there was the American version and then there was the British version. And in each case, because the context of slavery was different, and even the context of abolition was different, the illustrations looked different. So, for example, on page 25 of my book, the illustration of Uncle Tom and Little Eva, that illustration in the US looked very different than it did in the UK. And often those differences were about just in terms of how they depicted their relationship. So in the American version, their relationship might have been more depicted in interior scenes, whereas in the British version, there was more outdoor kind of pastoral landscape settings that they were sitting in. And so these depictions, right, helps you to understand the relationship between the characters. And the relationship was that you had an older Black man who was essentially childlike because he was considered the peer to little Eva, who was a child. And sort of the lasting legacy of that iconography is that you have the sort of the diminishing of Black masculinity, and always positioning it in terms of a childlike manhood that is serving to keep them in an inferior position.